Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Wednesday, May 6th. Annette, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. Are you ready to talk more about living a heart-led life?
I am. I'm especially looking forward to today because we're going to continue with our comparison between fear-led and heart-led.
I'm looking forward to that as well, especially since throughout the many months that we've done and years of that we've done Morning Intentions, we've often talked about we can come from a sense of fear or we can come from a sense of love. And this month we're using or we can come from our hearts. And even though we've talked about those things here and there, we're putting it all together here and having that comparison. This is what being fear led looks like and sounds like. This is what being heart led looks like and sounds like. Then we can see the direct comparison immediately rather than picking up the pieces and the breadcrumbs throughout our different episodes. So let's talk about the many faces of fear. We've shared what fear sounds like. Now let's look at what fear looks like.
The first face of fear is control. Now I want to talk about this a little while. As a coach, as a human, as a neighbor, as a friend, I have been on the receiving end of comments like so-and-so is so controlling. And we've talked about that with high-functioning codependency. Oh, they're so controlling. We can't really judge where somebody else is coming from. So there's that. But we're talking about what it feels like inside. So please do not look at your neighbor and say, oh, they're so fear-led. Let your neighbor deal with your neighbor.
Worry about yourself.
Worry about yourself. So that's part of what we're trying to discuss this month and share with all of you. It's heart-led. Only you really know. When it's fear-led, only you really know. Other people can have their conclusions, but only you really know. So, using this face of fear of control is something when you're coming from high-functioning codependency, or if you have been in an unhealthy relationship and there's a lot of trauma, there can be this sense that I have to control everything so that I keep myself safe. And you know what that feels like inside. On the outside, it could be, wow, she's really organized. But on the inside, it's like, I must control everything. That's a face of fear. When we're coming from the heart-led space, we work hard, we can take care of things, but inside there's not this feeling of if I don't take care of this, no one will. If I don't do this, the whole world is going to fall apart. If I don't do this, my family's going to whatever. If I don't do this, work is just going to fall to pieces. It's where we take so much upon ourselves. It can suck a lot of the joy out of life.
It sure can. And I know we're talking about what fear looks like today, but here might be another way that it sounds. The weight of the world is on my shoulders.
Well, and it can feel that way too. If that's how it feels, you may be, again, only you would know, but you may be coming from this fear-led place inside where you think you must control everything. Another way that fear can show up, another face of fear, as we're sharing today, can be this urgency. Like everything is urgent, urgent, urgent. You make a decision, well, you have to have it done yesterday. You hear that somebody needs something, well, you got to be taking care of it tonight. If you feel a sense of urgency, stop. Just stop. And ask yourself, is it really that urgent? Is it?
I've mentioned this before, and I think it's worth repeating right now. This happens a lot in marketing, where there is this false sense of urgency where I have to make a decision right now. And think of that feeling inside of ourselves. I know have felt that urgency, not just in a product buying space, but I've felt that in life. Like, I have to make this decision right now. I have to fix things. I have to do it right now. And if I don't do it, then my pain's going to last forever.
Well, the whole FOMO idea, fear of missing out. That's what marketers do in order to take advantage of people that are living from fear.
And good decisions aren't made in urgency.
They can't be. Now, we're not talking about in a true emergency situation where you must make a decision in urgency. We're not talking about that. We're talking about if you don't get the new item that you saw on Instagram immediately, you're not going to be able to be the best mom. That is fear-led. But we all fall into this. What Ada and I want all of us to do this month is to start seeing, and we're seeing it too. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we weren't doing this theme yet, but 2 weeks ago, here I am going back to my fear-led patterns again. So we're in this with you all, but we want to be able to call out some of these ways that we talk to ourselves like we have the last few days, or some of the actions that we take, but it's really the feelings inside where we feel we must control, like we feel if we don't do it, no one's going to do it, and it's urgent. That's what we want all of us to start really thinking about and catching yourself right in the moment. I'm making the calls, I'm doing the things, and if you watch yourself do it, stop and ask yourself, is this as urgent as I am feeling that it is? Do I really have to do this in such a rush? Have I checked in? Have I allowed myself to pause? Have I asked myself what feels true right now? What feels the most kind in this situation? If we haven't allowed ourselves to stop and ask some of these questions, we're going too fast. And that's the telltale mark of a fear-led life.
Because the fear will say, I don't have time to stop. I know I felt that way in my life, where I thought the best idea would be to do exactly what you're saying, Annette. Pause, take some time, think about it, reflect. But there was something in me that said, no, I don't have time. I can't wait. What I'm doing cannot be stopped. I have to keep going. Well, of course, that was just fear. And it didn't really turn out all that great in the end. But I was so overwhelmed. I actually was so scared of what could happen that I just kept on going.
We're not saying we have to write 15 pages in your journal and meditate on this for 3 hours. We're just saying take a walk around the block or go to your Zen den that we were talking about with Terry Cole. Sit there for 15 minutes, 10 minutes even, and check in.
Take 3 deep breaths.
We have to understand this isn't a complete change in how we're showing up. We're not joining a monastery and just thinking about things all day long. What we're saying is something happens and you get that sense of urgency. If you can say to yourself, oh, this looks like it's fear-led. What's my truth here? What's the kindest thing for me to do here? How long did that take me? Less than a minute. But at least I checked in.
So our intention for today is, I will stop when I find myself being led by fear in the form of control or urgency. I will stop when I find myself being led by fear in the forms of trying to control or having a sense of urgency. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.